This week, we're taking a look at the sad reality of girls being sold for sex right here in East Texas. Tonight, an East Texas survivor is sharing her story with CBS 19's Taylor DeHaze, a tale that includes being forced into that life by her very own family.
Our victim did not want to reveal her identity. Tonight, we'll refer to her as Sarah. For the first time, she's talking about a situation she never thought she'd make it out of alive. I want to warn you, this is not appropriate for young children. Here is Sarah's story.
I cannot be silent about something so evil.
A nightmare she says she couldn't wake up from.
I wanted to get out of the situation.
Sarah says at her earliest memory, she was being sold for sex. She still can't shake one memory from when she was just 10 years old.
I would oftentimes be drugged, thrown into a vehicle, and wake up in other cities all over Texas and occasionally other states.
Her traffickers were certainly not your normal suspects. Instead, they were well-dressed, educated, wealthy men. Some were even members of her own family, forcing her to do things too graphic to speak of.
The specialty that my family was a part of was gonzo child pornography and snuff films.
Snuff films are violent child pornography, oftentimes resulting in the death of the victim.
I had burns in several places on my body. I've had my jaw dislocated more than once.
Looking at a list of torture weapons, saws, choking mechanisms, and even fire, she says.
Every single one of the things on that list I have some memory of.
Sarah says this isn't what people think of when they hear sex trafficking. They weren't finding girls online, at hotels, or truck stops. Instead, it was a sick way of life passed down through generations, and she was simply the next in line.
There were experiences that I didn't know if I was gonna die that night or survived. I just kept believing that I would.
Hoping to find help, she says she turned to self-harm in middle school, thinking somebody would notice the marks.
I needed somebody to tell me that it wasn't my fault.
It didn't work. She says family outside of her traffickers knew something was wrong, but they never suspected something so horrific. In high school, she went to a foster home, but that didn't save her.
Contact was still allowed with my abusers, and so not only did the abuse continue while I was in foster care, but it escalated.
No matter how hard she tried escaping, she says her traffickers manipulated her, using torture, drugs, and threats. In and out of multiple foster homes, she finally escaped from it all when she was 18. With nowhere to turn and no high school diploma, she lived in a homeless shelter, saying it was hard to get anyone to listen to her story. Now in her 30s, it's her mission to have her story heard, in hopes to save another girl's life.
There's still this misconception that all trafficking is pimping, prostitution, and survival sex in strip clubs, hotels, and truck stops, when the truth is that it's a whole lot deeper and darker into organized crime.
It's been more than 15 years since Sarah escaped sex trafficking. She is happily married and going to college to study psychology.
Coming up tomorrow on CBS 19 News at 10, you've heard the stories of the problem. Now, how do we help those victims? How organizations nationwide and in East Texas are working to save our girls, plus how to spot signs that someone might be a trafficking victim.